Saving Private Ryan. And I will make you Pootie Tang. And there you go. Go. Oh, we could actually put you a little closer. I mean, that's funny, but like, it'll be easier to see if I bring it closer, though. Now that I have this speaker, I forget. I brought the speaker back. We can push you like we used to, right here. That's a U. Okay. Now, I'm gonna write on the board. So, let's see here. Saving Private Ryan. Do you want to start it off? Have you ever seen this movie before? You have, right?
Oh, I've seen it lots of times.
You've seen it lots. Did you watch it again for the review, or you just know it so well that you were ready?
I watched it.
That's fair. It's on Netflix for people who want to watch it. Also, if people want to watch Goblin is on Tubi, and Goblin is on Amazon Prime as well. But yes, this one, Saving Private Ryan, is on Netflix. So let's go. Let's write it on. So yeah, if you want to start talking while I'm writing, that would help me.
Okay. This movie starts off in modern day in quotation marks because it was made in 2001, I believe.
Yes.
So,
no, 1998. Pretty sure.
98.
I'm pretty sure.
You're right. It's a 90s movie.
Private Ryan. I'm gonna look it up on Wikipedia right now, but I think that's right.
It is a 90s movie, yeah.
1990. I remember looking at the year like a few times because Netflix shows you the year if you like let it sit on pause for a bit. Anyway, go ahead.
It starts with a family walking through a military gravesite, and there's a bunch of white crosses. So you obviously know what the situation is. It's a bunch of veterans.
A couple of Stars of David. You noticed though too.
We get an old guy crying as he comes upon a few graves, and it's men that he knew, and then it zooms in on a face, and then we get into the story, which it takes us to June 6, 1944, of course, D-Day, when the Allied troops landed on the shores of Normandy.
Yes.
And we go straight into a boat with a unit in it that we're gonna stay with the entire movie.
Right.
And
yes, sir.
It zooms in on the boat, and guys look scared. Some guys look pumped up, and then there's Tom Sizemore putting in a big wadded shoe.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to storm this beach. It's so badass.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get a shaking hand on the captain, played by Tom Hanks. And you see Tom Hanks, and he's got the captain's symbol on his helmet, so you're probably gonna know he's a captain if you know your military ranks. But
I did not.
The gate opens on their boat, and mayhem ensues. The battle is on, so to speak.
Yeah, and right away it starts off pretty. You know what? I don't have many negative notes for this, but I have one really mild negative note. I'm gonna say right off the top. Is the first scene you already talked about with where it's in 2000 or 1998, and he's visiting the gravesite. That scene could have been cut down a little bit. It's like 10 minutes at the beginning. It feels like, even if maybe it's not quite that long, but it felt that long. It could have been cut down a bit at least.
It's literally walking, and there's no talking. He's just crying, and then there's no dialogue in it at all. It's not super well done.
No. But yeah, I honestly even went back a couple times. Did I miss anything? Because I find myself dazed a little bit, looking around and not paying attention. I'm oh, did I go back? No, I didn't miss anything. They're just fucking walking for 5 minutes or whatever. It's okay, I get it. But it's in a movie that's how long is this? It's 2 hours and 50 minutes. It's pretty long. But it uses its time pretty well for the most part. That's like was the main thing that I was like, yeah, that definitely could have been cut down. So it probably could have been cut down in general a little bit more, but it was still pretty good. And the cinematography is beautiful. The all the acting is great. You recognize so many different character actors. They have so many great actors in this. Paul Giamatti, so obviously Tom Hanks, and I don't know his name, but that guy who's in Dazed and Confused, who plays the Jewish guy in this movie. There's tons of actors you're like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
And I love that in movies. And then obviously Matt Damon later. And so, we're not gonna get there. I might say some spoiler alerts later, but we're not gonna get there yet. We're on the Wikipedia page right now. So what I'm gonna do is check out the good old budget and box office, and this made a shitload of money because I think it won awards and shit, the Academy Awards. Although that doesn't guarantee you make a lot of money, but this was popular as well. It's getting an Academy Award. Budget $70 million, relatively high budget anyway. But holy fuck, the box office $482.3 mil. That's a money movie. And I was watching.
That's a grand slam.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty much. That's like you can't do much better than that. Of course you can, but that's pretty great. But no, what was I gonna say? I was watching a documentary about David Geffen, and it was funny because this is one of the movies that he produced. So real quick, mention David Geffen, but yeah, Tom Hanks is great, and I think I'm gonna put another Tom Hanks movie on next week, honestly, because there's that Mr. Rogers movie is on Netflix. I want to watch that. It's like the biopic, and I think Tom Hanks plays him. So that looked pretty interesting. I like biopics sometimes, and usually biopics that are about people that aren't musicians are better than the ones that are about musicians. That's how I feel anyway. Not
Me
always,
too.
but like my favorite biopic is Ed Wood about the director. Anyway, this movie's pretty fun. It was pretty good. It got here are all the awards it fucking won. It won 5. So Spielberg, he got, or was this a wins or was it just nomination? The film was nominated for 11 Academy Awards at the 71st Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Original Screenplay. Okay, and they won 5. They won Best Director. They won Best Film Editing, Best Cinematography, Best Sound. It is really good sound, I have to admit. In a lot of movies, there's lots of difference. I mean, yeah, with gunshots, that's just going to be how it is, but it is relatively balanced for the most part, the sound, and I appreciate that a lot. But best sound effects editing. So best sound and best sound effects editing. So yeah, they nailed the sound department. This movie is pretty good. And it's like sort of exciting. We didn't really talk about the plot, sort of. Like, it's called Saving Private Ryan. The name of the movie is also the plot. So they're trying to save Private Ryan. Who we don't know who he is, but the reason they're trying to save him is because Private Ryan had 3 other brothers and they all died, so the head of the army or whatever wants to send him home so the mother doesn't have another fucking dead son, basically, is the plot. And there's a lot of talk of like, is this really the right thing to do in this movie? And you wonder, maybe it's not, because like Vin Diesel, Vin Diesel's in this fucking movie. Vin Diesel, and as soon as I saw Vin Diesel, I was like, either he's just in it for a little bit, or he's in it for a little bit and he dies. Because I just know that he wasn't going to have a big part of it. But, yeah, spoiler, he dies first out of, like, the main crew. Spoiler. I said spoiler, so it's okay, right? No, yeah, Vin Diesel. He's not the greatest actor in the world, but he definitely did well in that part, I think. It worked for him. But yeah, no, I like this generally, and Yeah, Matt Damon's in this as Private Ryan later on, but yeah, they talk about, is this the right thing to do, you know, because we're putting our lives at risk. You know, people are dying just to save this one guy. Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense in the grand schemes of the war. And there's lots of different dramatic parts where like the members of the group are getting mad at each other for different reasons. This is good. There's lots of little details too in this film that make it good. Like Tom Hanks, they don't know where Tom Hanks' character is from, so the characters have a betting pool on where he's from, and if you get it right, then you get all the money. That's how betting works. But that's another fun little detail that I kind of liked, and I won't ruin how that part of it ends. But what else was I gonna say? So yeah, Matt Damon is in it, like I said, and sort of spoiler alert, but I gotta do it. I want to do it. Spoiler alert. Because right at the beginning of the movie, because I thought this was so well done, so I have to talk about it. At the beginning, they do sort of, to me, it was a fake out. Whether this was intentional or not, I don't know. It faked me out. You see the old guy, so you're like, okay, this old guy at the beginning of the movie, he's gonna be one of these guys, and I thought anyway for most of the movie that it was Tom Hanks. That he was the old guy. That's what you're supposed to think. That's what you're supposed. Okay, so it was intentional. So that was done well. That was done really well because they got a guy that could look like Matt Damon or Tom Hanks when he's older. So that was smart. I thought that was, and that was, I was good. And like if you think about like the shapes of Tom Hanks and Matt Damon's head, their head shapes are kind of similar too. So maybe there was a lot of thought put into this movie, into the casting, into the lighting, into the editing, into everything. I think it was very well done. And yeah, this is like the beginning of DreamWorks too. This is before Shrek. Before they were like mainly animated shit. Like Spielberg started this company, David Geffen and some other guy, I forget. But those are like the more famous members. There was one other guy that did it. But anyways, I am starting to run out of shit. I feel like I've been talking for a while. G-Bergs, your turn.
Yeah. There's one of the Ryan brothers was on the beach of Normandy that day, and there's a nice shot of him laying on the beach. Yeah. But this movie just doesn't. I think it does an amazing job of showing the brutality of war and the shit they hit on Omaha Beach, because Omaha Beach was the area that the U.S. was attacking. They had Utah Beach and Omaha Beach, and the opening scene of the opening war scene in this movie is at Omaha Beach, and it's really intense. How many shots are coming through? How many people are getting killed? And I think it does an amazing job. I mean, I wonder what. I bet over half the budget was on extras for this movie, but they had a shitload of people in costume, and it looked awesome. Yeah. 70 it showed the difficulty of trying to land an attack on a beach, first of all, and actually establish any type of grounding on the beachfront. And it's a very intense movie. Yeah, for sure. Emotional. It's not for the faint of heart. Yeah, it's rated R, and for good reason. It's very graphic with the gore and it's realistic. It's not like a cheesy horror movie like we reviewed. It's very and it looks real, like the violence and stuff. It looks very real. And yeah. Sorry, real quick. Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, once they establish the headquarters more or less on the beachfront, then our main unit gets the orders that they have to go track down this Private Ryan. Right. And we get Ted Danson in that scene. If you know who Ted Danson is. Oh yeah, I forgot that he. Yeah, I honestly that might have
I might have slipped my mind, but I definitely know who Ted Danson is. I'm a big fan of Cheers and Frasier, so I know Ted Danson.
And this is the same. This is the same time that they get a new translator because their translator was killed.
Oh yeah.
So
this character is important.
They get a typist, someone who's they're supposed to be journaling the war, but he speaks German and French, so now his objectives have changed because he's got to join this unit and become their translator.
Yeah.
And he's trying to carry a bunch of shit with him that he doesn't need, and Tom Hanks is like, go get your gun. Go get your gun. He's like, but I haven't used a weapon since basic training. And then he's like, did you fire it in basic training? Yeah, well then get your gear.
He was like, you're good enough. Good to go. Let's go. Yeah, no, I like that scene too. And he was like, can I bring a typewriter? And Tom Hanks just holds up a pencil. I was like, okay, I get it. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. And right away you're like, okay, this is sort of like the dork of the crew, and everyone sort of makes fun of him at first, but you definitely understand his point of view as the movie progresses, and his character as he starts to like see the tragedies of war and things. His character really develops, I think, and I could kind of tell. Spoiler alert, but I could kind of tell that I felt like he was going to survive. I wasn't sure about everybody, but I think that's correct. Lots of people die in this movie, but a couple survive. Yeah. And I think that's shown well for the most part. Like, and at the end when it's, again, spoiler alert, they reveal that Private Ryan is the guy that's been well, they don't really show that it's been telling the story. They just sort of, it could be like what he's thinking, but we see from the beginning of the movie that Matt Damon, Private Ryan, is this old veteran who's crying at the gravesite. But yeah, no, it's a very well made film. I'd never seen it before. I wanted to watch it because I had never seen it before. Yeah.
And it was Remembrance Day yesterday.
Yes, so. Lest we forget, Remembrance Day. And also, yes, this movie is obviously completely war themed, but Goblin, real quick, it's sort of connected to veterans very loosely, because the character Danny was a veteran, and Sarah's ex-husband, who's deceased, who's an off-screen character, he was also a veteran. So, and they show Danny at one point with his dog tag, so he was in the war, or he was in Afghanistan or whatever. But yeah, no, absolutely, Remembrance Day, very important. Much respect. My grandpa served in World War II. He's dead now, but he lived through World War II. If he didn't, we would not be alive. So obviously, I'm very grateful for veterans in general. But yes.
Do you know what your grandpa did during the war?
I mean, he was a soldier. I'm not exactly sure. I could tell you a war story from him that I remember. Piano Beats! Holy fuck, Piano Beats! Hello, friend! Oh my god, it's been so long. Yo, Saving Ryan's Private. Oh, something we gotta say real quick, because I know that there's a porn parody of this movie called Shaving Ryan's Privates. I haven't seen it. My dad has told me about it. I don't know if he's even seen it, maybe. But he told me about it. I remember he would always say, when this movie was big, oh my god, thank you so much, Piano Beats. Thank you for the 100 bits. I really, really appreciate that, man. How have you been? It's been so long. Good, really good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat. I'm shutting you out, clearly. Shut up, Piano Beats. Much love to Piano Beats. But yeah, I don't know. I like this movie. Good, broski. That's good. I'm very glad to hear. But yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought, but that's okay. Did you have anything that you haven't said yet, G-Bergs?
I was just gonna reiterate the performances. You mentioned that they're all really
so good,
and the guy that plays the translator has a great performance. Tom Hanks, obviously, and Matt Damon do too.
Oh yeah.
We got a young Nathan Fillion also as the fake Private Ryan.
Oh, right, I didn't even catch that, but that guy did look kind of familiar. Okay, let's talk about that scene real quick, because I like that. Near the beginning-ish, like first hour, 45 minutes-ish of the movie, they find a Private Ryan, and like, oh, that's quick, you know, you'd think that they would take
James
longer.
F. Ryan.
But it's the wrong Ryan, and one of the ways that they break it to him is like, oh, your brothers are dead. He's like, my brothers that were in middle school or whatever. Oh, if they're in middle school, they wouldn't be in the wars. It must be the wrong Ryan. They figure out, yes, it's the wrong Ryan. So yeah, that scene was good. But I'm trying to think of other shit in this movie because there's so many like good bits to it.
I do. The only thing I have to say is that Vin Diesel's performance I don't think is very good.
Okay.
It's the one performance that sticks out for me.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is like, I think
kind of out of place.
I think it just barely works because he's not in it that long. But I agree that it does seem a little out of place. I will agree with you on that. But yeah.
And there's a scene, where they just get to a town and they're hiding behind a cart, and some apples fell off the cart, and he starts going through them while the other guys are like shooting, and people are shooting at them, and I'm like, and just the way he's doing it, I don't know, it's just so Vin Diesel-y, and then he takes a bite out of an apple and spits it out. It's like, you didn't even eat a bite.
Yeah, that part was. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, what? What was his motive? Like, was Spielberg like, come on, let me see eat that apple, baby?
We need Vin to do something here, or like, I don't know, it was weird. I don't know if that was written into the script or what, but either way, I
yeah, that part was weird. But some of the parts that worked with him for me was like, honestly, him dying, it was kind of believable for me. That part was believable for me, but
okay, I am not a big fan of that part.
Okay, for
two reasons.
It was just
Number
enough.
One, what's that?
It was just enough, like, that it was believable enough for me, like, holding the paper and stuff. Giving him actions, I think, helps. Because he's a physical sort of actor. I think that's what I mean. When he's talking, it's harder. I agree.
Yeah, we don't get the emotions out of him that we need. Like, there's a
I am Groot.
There's a French family that
they're trying to give him a kid or something.
The house has been destroyed, and they're trying to save their children, so they want to hand the daughter and son over to this unit, and Tom Hanks is like, we're not here to fucking save any kids, we're here to find Ryan and win wars, but then Vin Diesel pops up and he tries to take this kid, and it's not believable for me. He's like, oh, she reminds me of my niece, just the way he reads lines.
Okay, I agree. I didn't really like that part. I thought it was a little weird, just because I was like, why is he not listening to his superior officer, though, also? It just seemed a little weird in general. But yeah, I agree. His line delivery is never going to be the best. Out of all these actors, he's probably the weakest.
Yes.
But that being said, let's look at the cast. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you about the cast. Who's the Luke Wilson looking dude?
Oh, the Luke Wilson looking dude. I'm not sure.
He's the guy that...
Is Luke Wilson
the biggest... No, it's not Luke Wilson, no. But he had the biggest gun in the unit. And I can't remember the actor's name.
I don't know.
But he does a great job. And another name I have to mention is Giovanni Ribisi.
Paul Giovanni?
No.
Oh, Giamatti. I'm thinking of Paul Giamatti. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
He plays the medic in this
movie.
Okay,
right.
He has an unbelievable performance. People probably don't even know who he is, but he's fucking hilarious, great actor. He was in My Name Is Earl, and he was in Ted. He was in Ted, I believe.
Who is he in Ted?
He's like the creepy dude, the bad guy.
Oh, right. I know exactly who you're talking about, yeah. Okay.
He plays the medic, and his performance is unreal. Like, from start to end for him. He has got a great performance in this, and it's because he's the medic and he's not out there, he's not running and gunning kind of a thing.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a secondary character, and people don't really think about it, but yeah, great performance from him.
Yeah, that's fair to say. And yeah, like we said, most of the performances are pretty good, pretty stellar. And yeah, back to who's the actor who played we were talking about earlier, the dorky guy with the typewriter and stuff. Who is that?
Yeah,
actor?
I don't know who that is.
Cause he was good.
He was really good.
Yeah, Matt Damon. I'm just looking through all the actors here. I'm trying to find him.
The typewriter guy had the most character development.
Yeah, I would say that too, and I thought it was good character development. Oh, and then they had that guy that dies first. They give him a little bit. Oh no, not Vin Diesel dies first. The guy that dies after Vin Diesel. They give him a little bit of a character development. Oh yeah, and then there's the part with where they're like debating whether they should kill that one German soldier, and the German soldier's like, "I like Betty Boop," and stuff like that.
Yeah, Frenchie.
Yeah, that was a good scene too. This is filled with good scenes. It's very rarely boring. Like I said, the part that dragged the most is like the first 10 minutes. But once it gets going, it gets going. Like the beginning, the first scene, after the first scene, so the second scene, sorry. The first scene when they're like in the war and they're going, it's like, bam, bam, people are getting shot. It's like, bam, you're right into it. And I like that.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, and it's never really boring, I don't think. Like there's slower moments, but it's still captivating in the bulk of the middle, which is important for such a long film. Again, it's like 2 hours and 50 minutes. But yeah, I'm running out of shit to say about this. Sir, what you got? G-Bergs? Piano Beats, you seen this movie? What do you think? But yeah, G-Bergs, go ahead.
It just shows the human side of war. Like, these are humans at the end of the day, right? They're not war machines. And
exactly.
Tom Hanks, he's the captain of the crew. He's got to hold it together in front of his men. And there's a really, really good scene in Tom Hanks after, I don't want to spoil it, but, I mean, their medic dies. And
We've been spoiling shit. Just say spoiler before you say it, and it's fine.
Spoiler, their medic gets killed when they take this hill that they didn't really need to take. They could have went around it, and that was a big argument in the unit. First of all, they're all upset that they have to go find this Private Ryan, thinking his life is worth more than all theirs.
Yeah,
right?
that's like the big question sort of throughout. It's like, why is this necessary? And that leads me to another good point, because at the end, well, when Matt Damon is told that, okay, we're here to get you, you're gonna come home, you know, because all your brothers are dead, basically, and he's like, well, why am I more important? Like, why am I more important than this guy and this guy and this guy? So he's basically has the same sentiment that everyone else does. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm staying at this bridge. We're gonna fight the Germans. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. I don't care, kind of thing. And yeah, like you said, G-Bergs, it shows the turmoil of war very well. Go ahead, buddy. What you saying?
He said he was gonna stay with the only brothers he's got left, and that's a real thing. I mean, if all your brothers died, yeah, of course the military is the only family you got left.
They're your friends.
And I get a kick out of this. I hope you do too. But whenever they say the title of the movie in the movie, because that comes right after that scene with Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore, who's the sergeant of Tom Hanks's unit, so he's second in command.
Yeah.
He's like, Tom Hanks is like, I don't know, is this worth it? Like, what do you think? And he says, yeah, we could pack up and go home, but, and then he says, Saving Private Ryan might be one good thing we all did out of this whole shitty fucking mess. We did save this one guy. We got our objective. And I was like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, your soldiers, you gotta go with the orders, right? It shows the difficulty of that. And when they come across a hill encampment, there's a big gun. A German's got a big gun set up on the top of this hill, and they got probably 5 or 6 guys in a bunker, and they could get around this bunker. They wouldn't have to go through it, but Tom Hanks wants to take it. And they're like, well, but we're supposed to be here to save Private Ryan. He's like, we're here to win the war.
Yeah.
That's the overall objective.
Yeah, it's true.
But
I like that scene too.
This decision gets his medic killed, and then when the medic died, no emotion from Tom Hanks in front of his men, and then when he's off, he just breaks down, and it just shows the range, and obviously he's an actor, but it's another level in this. He's really doing his best work, I think.
Yeah, I love me Tom Hanks. And like I said, we're doing another Tom Hanks movie, so that'll be 3 in a row for 3 weeks. But next week, I want to do that. I think it's called The Neighborhood or something like that. The Mr. Rogers biopic. Anyway, I have run out of stuff to say about this film other than it's just there's so many moments we could go into really, but it's watch it if you haven't. I haven't seen it. I thought it was really good. And yeah, one more minor note, I guess, is that I said the beginning dragged a little bit, and also the very end dragged just a tiny bit. So, but the middle, which is the bulk and the most important part, is really good. And even those 2 parts, they weren't bad. They just meant it dragged a little bit. And yeah, well written, well made, beautifully shot. It won it won 5 Academy Awards and was nominated for 7.
Sets are amazing.
What's that?
The sets.
Oh yeah,
are amazing.
The sets and all the props, everything looks realistic. The effects, it really, you really think you're in World War II for a few moments in the film. So I think it accomplishes its goal. But yeah. I'm good if you're good. G-Bergs, you got any more?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, let's rate it. You want to put it through the chat? Your rating? I'll put my...
I'm not on the chat.
Oh,
currently.
okay. That's okay. Just tell me then. I'll write it down for you. I'm
going 9.5.
Whoa. I was thinking 8.5. I think it's pretty good, but it's not 100% perfect, like we said, problems with the drag. But I did like it. I'm giving it 8.5. I think those are both fair. 9.5.
If the very beginning and very end weren't there, it'd probably be a 10 out of 10 for me. But
there you go. I get you. That's fair. Okay, I'm gonna put on a beat, and I'm gonna do the thing where I show the board to the screen. This is from Turn Up Music SK in this beat. But yeah, Saving Private Ryan, 9.5 out of 10 Bergs, 8.5 out of 10 Dogs. I liked it. Pretty good. Recommend. All right. Okay.